on the brake pedal. And it's a very unique thing for the driver. And the FPR, or the Pro Drive Racing Australia battle that Mark's talking about, I'm not exactly sure, but
Whoa!
this is a big failure there.
That's a big hit, Jack. That's an enormous hit to L.Holdsworth, who had no idea N.Percat was coming at undiminished velocity across the Rolex sign at the inside of turn one, and he was speaking about braking.
I think
there was none of it going on there.
That's either a brake failure or a stuck throttle. Nick did his absolute very best to get to the inside, but unfortunately tagged L.Holdsworth, and that's taken the wind out of him. Good to see him out of the car, but you never like to see cars doing 250k an hour and having no stopping ability.
That's a big impact. Huge initial, oh man, look at the damage to the back of the Brad Jones Racing Commodore. We're under safety car, naturally. That car in a dangerous position, and he's going to be a bit sore tonight. I think N.Percat, massive hit. And L.Holdsworth, who was just going about his merry business, turning out of turn one, being attended to by the volunteer officials who do an amazing job, and the safety teams here at Albert Park. And this circuit, we should emphasise now, safer than it ever has been. The faster Formula One cars mean that the track has had several safety improvements over the off-season in its design. New barriers have been planted in. And gee, what started out as a really promising day for Brad Jones Racing ends terribly. And there's Nick.
So he's pretty keen to get over to Lee and just let him know that it wasn't him trying. No brakes,
Oh, yeah.
There you go. So Nick, clearly no brakes. And he's apologising to Lee, who was very much the innocent bystander there. And feel sorry for that little Preston High team. That's not what they need, and certainly not what BJR needed. No one wanted to do that on purpose, and we see L.Holdsworth out of the car. Okay, very much a testament to these cars. They are as safe as houses. Look at the replay. N.Percat there on Todd Kelly, and you see there, instantly no brakes. He's gone to the inside to miss drilling the back of Todd Kelly. He's gone across the inside of the tyre bundle, backed his car into the rear of L.Holdsworth, and it has opened the back of that BJR Commodore up, taken the rear windscreen out. I've never seen one of the new rear windscreens break like that.
And I think this was a case of, well, I either hit Todd Kelly or I bail out of that and try and avoid and get lucky and avoid everyone. And Holdsworth copped the brunt of that in the right rear corner of the Preston Hire Commodore, as did the Brad Jones Racing car. Incredible livery for this weekend. So this will show it really well.
And Lee was nearly past. He nearly got that gap between the cars. But I would suggest a bit of suspension damage to Lee's car. I reckon that car will be back out, if not this afternoon, tomorrow. But I'd be surprised if we see N.Percat's car out for the rest of the weekend. That would have done a lot of damage to the left rear and also right up to the parcel shelf for that Commodore.
They had such a tough year last year, Preston High Racing. Charlie Schwerkolt's team, a big crash for L.Holdsworth at Hidden Valley. Destroyed a car, had to get a new one built, turned it round. They had replacement drivers in their cars. Really tough initial season in supercar racing for that outfit since moving across to Holden. And just looking to stay out of trouble this weekend and learn and get up to speed. You're right about the damage and popping that rear screen out. And these cars built, the next generation supercars, car of the future when it was launched, were built to sustain that kind of an impact better than the previous spec cars. They moved the fuel cell forward of the rear axle, so they're much better at absorbing those rear impact. And you would have thought with an older gen car, that would have created a few more issues for N.Percat and fuel cells hanging out over the rear axle. So if you're going to crash, do it in one of these cars because they're very safe. And you can see the extra row of protection. So that a lot of the corners have got an extra row of tyres, and some of them have got the FIA Tech Pro barriers around them as well to cope with the faster Formula One cars.
It is unbelievably hard to describe how N.Percat would have felt for about 4 seconds.